Oh, I wonder how we're going to get glucose to go from the GI tract to the blood. I wonder if we're going to do it with a Symport with sodium, yes? It's going to be the third time you've seen this exact thing, okay? So there's not many surprises here. But, of course, you know, there's details that are specific to the specific system we're talking about. All right. Let's do this. Anatomy. As much as I didn't know when I was, I told you my spleen story, right? As much as I didn't know, I knew this, right? So think about all the places where food goes, all right? So let's start. Mouth. Now tell me what happens next. Esophagus, right? Then? Stomach, yes? Okay. So we're going to talk about some stuff that happens in the mouth. Esophagus is boring as anything, right? I mean, really, nothing's really happening there. There's mucus there, I guarantee, to let it slide down. There's muscle movement, but there's really no absorption, no digestion, okay? What do you notice in the mouth? They put a couple other words in there. There's one other word. What's the salivary gland do? Secretes, produces and secretes saliva, which will do what? It will chemically digest, and we'll get into it. Only two of the three things. By the way, we're going to talk about proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids. It'll break down carbohydrates and lipids partially. No protein digestion. We'll get into that. By the way, that's also what Tony Gwynn had cancer of, the salivary glands. Tony Gwynn, Mr. Padre, 1,247. 8 batting titles. Drafted in the 10th round of the NBA draft. He's a basketball player too. Point guard. Grew up in Long Beach, had a brother, Chris Quinn. I'll tell you all that. All right, good. So that's it. Good. Then where does it go? Then where does it go? Then to stomach. Okay, so look at it. I look at it as 4 compartments. Mouth, stomach. Okay. Then where? And then good. Okay, so to me it's those 4 areas. Okay, Bob, you talk about esophagus. But look, there's some other things here that I want you to notice. So you see the small intestine first, and then the large intestine over here. What else do you see here? Let's take them one at a time. Liver. Okay, good. What does the liver have to do with anything in the digestive system? By the way, does food pass through the liver?
No.
No. Okay, it's not part of the GI tract. Can we tell me? It produces bile, which leaks into what? The gallbladder. And then the gallbladder is going to secrete it on demand, so to speak, right? When you need it. Okay? Great. What does bile do?
It digests fats.
Yeah. And that's exactly wrong. It doesn't chemically digest anything. Not chemically. Oh, believe me, I was surprised too. Bile, all bile does, we'll talk about this later today, all it does is break the lipids into smaller pieces. No chemical digestion, okay? Lipase chemically digests. So we're going to talk about that. I mean, everyone hears about bile. By the way, that's what liver does to the digestive system. It also has other functions, yes? Immune functions, catabolic functions, all that. What other organ do you see here? There's only one other. Pancreas, great. We talked about the pancreas. There's a couple words I'll tell you about the pancreas. They say there's an endocrine pancreas and an exocrine pancreas. What's the difference between those 2 words? 2 letters, right? It's X instead of N. Oh, I'm glad I point this out for a couple reasons. We already talked about the endocrine pancreas. We talked about glucagon and insulin, yes? Endocrine means an endocrine gland secretes something into the blood. An exocrine gland does what? It secretes something outside of your body. Sweat glands are exocrine glands. Now this is where you might be confused. I'm telling you, the pancreas is an exocrine gland. Why? It secretes enzymes and hormones into your GI tract. in your GI tract, is it inside your body or outside your body? Once again, I'm vindicated, yes? Okay, they cannot call it. That is an exocrine release. Sweat glands, exocrine. Something, anything that secretes into your GI tract is an exocrine gland. Okay? So we'll talk about that, and there are some enzymes, and mostly enzymes that break down carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids. Okay? So here's the story, right? These are all the players, and we're going to go through these processes one at a time. Before I do, I want to get out of the way the boring one. Movement, yes, motility. I want to get that out of the way. I also want to go over these notes, right? Okay, mouth and the esophagus, right? Okay, by the way, I said there was 4 compartments. I didn't count the esophagus. There's really 5. You want it to stay in one compartment for a while, yes? Then go to the next, then go to the next, and then go to the next, right? What separates the compartments?
Sphincters.
Or, there's something else.
Valves?
Or valves, yes? So the esophagus is separated from the mouth by the upper esophageal sphincter. And at the bottom you have what? So that's the esophagus to the stomach, right? Okay, just make it simple. Now, the small intestine is separated from the stomach by what? Pyloric valve. Okay? And then the large intestine is separated from the small intestine by the ileocecal valve. And feces leave the large intestine, right? Through the anal sphincters, and I say sphincters plural. Yes, there's 2 of them. One is subject to voluntary control. The other one is not. Okay? And by the way, subject to voluntary control. When you're a baby, you haven't learned to control that muscle. And some people, I know most people, right? When you get older, you lose your ability to control that. Okay? And so the one sphincter is just going to open involuntarily when what happens? It's too much stuff in here, right? It's a little pressure thing. I don't think anyone's ever figured out exactly what's going on, right? But stuff's there. Well, look, it's like your urinary bladder, right? Your bladder's full, right? It would normally come out, but you control it and you can hold it in, right? Well, the same thing with this. Thank goodness for that second sphincter. I'm just going to say that right now. I do remember this vividly. It was an early Ironman competition. It must have been 1982 or something, maybe 81. Remember this gal is like, the Ironman's what? 3.2 miles? What is it? It's a 120 bike ride, and it's a marathon. And so she was leading this I can't even remember her name. And she just, as people tend to do, they're called, and she kept getting up and trying to, and she lost control of her bladder, or no, bladder and her anus, right? That's just what happens when you're that fatigued. Anyhow, good. So look, out of all these sphincters and valves, only one can you control. By the way, do you want to control this one here? Yeah. What do you not want to happen? What if this one, and it's supposed to be one-way valves, right? What happens if it goes the other way? Come on, yes? No? Here's a funny thing. I hear people say, well, I got bile in my vomit. Have you ever heard that? Well, I've never heard it, right? I just got to tell you. How many sphincters did it have to go by? First of all, this one opens and this one opens to get stomach acid, right? So both these have to open. To get bile, you'd have to open this one here, right? Because bile's not coming. So, I don't know where these people, it tastes like bile. Look, that's how these things start, yes? And I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I haven't really thought. I just highly doubt that there's any bile. I'm sure you could test it, right? Have someone throw up and do a bile. But, well, come on. For science? You want to do this for science?
No.
All right. So there's 2 things I want to talk about. I want to talk about movement, and I want to talk about absorbable units before we get into what we're going to talk about. So there's 2 types of contractions. Who's heard of the word peristalsis? Okay, I got to tell this. All I remember from the digestive system movement is peristalsis. And all this is what do you think when you think of peristalsis?
Contraction of muscles.
Yes, but pushing, so what is it, like push? Time 0, poop. boop, boop, boop. Sequential contractions to keep it move forward. As opposed to the whole thing contracts, right? Now, so this is peristalsis, is forward movements. Sometimes you want some contractions where these contract, 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 and you get some mixing. Yes? Like maybe in your stomach? You want this, yes? Okay. So, sometimes you want to mix it, and look, to mix it, you have them going like this, right? At the same time, peristalsis, sequential contractions to keep it going one way. Push, push, yes? So I just want you to know that's actually the only thing I've ever seen an exam question on given is peristalsis, right? Time 0, seconds later over here, seconds later over here, keeps it moving forward. By the way, it happens in your esophagus, happens in your small and large intestine, yes? Right? Keep the food moving forward. I don't want that back up, that'd be disgusting, I think. Okay. Here's some words that are going to refresh your memory from maybe introductory biology. Out of what we eat, out of the things we eat, double, you may not believe. Carne asada burrito, pizza, combination, whatever. What are the nutrients from? What are the nutrients we get? Carbohydrates, lipids, and protein, okay? And that's where we get calories from, those three things. We cannot get calories from DNA, even though, no, look, everything we eat has DNA in it, right? But we can't get calories from it. And actually, there's one other thing. You get calories from alcohol, from ethanol. You get calories from it. It's a type of sugar. What else do we get from our food? Well, I'll teach a mini nutrition class. Vitamins and good. What does minerals mean? You heard about vitamins, vitamin A, B, a bunch of B's, C, D, E, K. What are minerals? I showed you in lab, I think, remember there are 6 elements that are in proteins, carbohydrates, and everything else is a mineral. Sodium, potassium, chloride, right? Yes? Iron, manganese, right? So these are minerals. Minerals are basically, they're basically ions, is what they are, that we need for our body to work. And that's just it. So we're not going to talk about the vitamins and the minerals. We're going to talk about the 3 main energy nutrients: carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. So I don't know if you remember this from general biology. I'm going to show you this. Glucose is a 6-carbon molecule. Every one of these, what we call these, vertices in the every one of these vertices is a carbon. You have hydrogen hanging off. So this is glucose here, and we have 2 of them. This is glucose and this is fructose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another carbon hanging out here called an isomer. This is galactose over here. They're all 6-carbon carbohydrates. These can be absorbed. This can go from your GI tract to your blood because we have transporters for it. These are called what? Monosaccharides. This is the monomer. All carbohydrates are made of these monomers. Put them together, we have a what? Disaccharide. Here's some names you may have heard. Maltose is 2 glucoses together. You find this in where? Beer. Malt sugar. Sucrose is what?
Table sugar.
Table sugar, sugar cane, beet sugar. Okay? That is glucose and fructose. Lactose you find in what? Milk. And it's glucose and galactose. These are the enzymes that break these down into this. This cannot get into your circulatory system. This cannot go from your small intestine to your circulatory system. This can. Okay? So you need these enzymes. Okay, well, let's go. Let's step right back. All right? Let's just assume you're not a person eating this, right? Tell me some other carbohydrates besides table sugar, malt sugar, and milk sugar. Carbohydrates? Starch. What does starch mean? We'll give you some examples of starch.
It's a long chain of
They don't even do it justice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is like 7,000 of these. You eat bread, you eat pasta, you eat rice. It is made of starch. Okay? Long strings of glucose. And in order to break this down into disaccharides, what enzyme do you need? Amylase. Okay? So not just starch. By the way, what is glycogen?
So it's kind of similar.
Yeah, in fact, it's so similar they call glycogen animal starch. And where do you find it? In animals like us?
Muscle.
In muscles and in your liver. In your muscles and your liver. So if you eat meat, or you eat liver, you are eating glycogen. That has carbohydrates. This has carbohydrates. These are called simple sugars. They got carbohydrates. And it does you no good. Well, here's an interesting way to look at it. The purpose of eating is actually to get this into your circulatory system, right? But the funny thing when you get older, you actually don't want to do this, right? Why? Because you don't want to gain weight, right? You don't want calories. Well, wait till you get older and it's hard to walk. No, but look, but the point is, this is what you want to do, right? So whatever you eat, these are how carbohydrates get broken down. These are the absorbable units. So you should know is some of these words, but you should know that the monosaccharides are the absorbable units. You cannot absorb this, you cannot absorb this. What do you want to do next? Carbohydrate, proteins or lipids? Okay, let's do it. Okay, when you think of lipids, you think of eating lipids. Give me some examples. Let's go to my double from In-N-Out Burger. We're going to find some lipids in there. The cheese for sure. Where else? The meat, right? Unless you're 100%, you know, yeah. The dressing for sure. We don't call it dressing, we call it spread. In 1948, they've been having spread on there. October 23rd, that's when they opened Baldwin Park. That's Mosquito Avenue. Yes, yes, I know all about In-N-Out Burger. Harry Schneider in Apple, I think.
In-N-Out.
Two brothers, two sons. Anyhow, back to the story. So you got it in the cheese, you got it in the meat, you got it in the spread. Mayonnaise, we have spread. This is not McDonald's. It's not Burger King. They have spread. That's it. Okay. So that's what you have. Okay. By the way, we're going to have carbohydrates in your number. The bread. Where else? In the meat a little bit. Where else?
The fries.
The lettuce for sure. Although I want to talk about one thing. That's why I brought that up. And in the cheese. Yes. The one thing I want to bring up about the lettuce. There's one other carbohydrate here. It'd be right up here. We would call it cellulose. Not cellulite, cellulose. Okay? Cellulose. Okay? Now cellulose is where?
In the plant.
The plant, remember, it's got a cell wall. And here's the great thing about cellulose. We do not have the enzymes to break it down into this. Which means when we eat it, it comes out.
Like corn?
Corn, yes, the husk of the corn, and yes, and by the way, there's another word for that. There's another word for that. There's another word for cellulose.
Tell you what you eat.
Fiber.
Fiber. When they say you have fiber in your diet, that's all they're talking about, cellulose. Okay? It's undigestible, and you know, there's some other good things. First of all, it's supposed to make you full, you don't eat as much, there's no calories there. But also they say it cleans out your digestive tract. I know it does, it adds some bulk and some good stick to it as it comes out, but it's not like it's like, you know, I mean, you know, I just don't see that. Okay, so we know where we have the lipids. Now, we have them in the meat, we have them in the cheese, we have them in the spread. What is the name of the component of the lipids that we use for fuel? Well, I don't know if you'd come up with this, but there it is. It's the top one. Okay, triglyceride. Okay, by the way, there's cholesterol and some other lipids in there. But triglyceride is the main form of lipid that we get our energy from. And look, I'll just tell you, triglyceride is quite simple. This green, yeah, This yellow thing is actually glycerol. Glycerol, kind of like a sugar. And these are called what?
Fatty chains.
These are fatty acids. Now I want to point this out. So why is this called a triglyceride? 1, 2, 3 fatty acids. Okay. And by the way, these fatty acids have names too. And they're named based on their length. And these fatty acids can be saturated or unsaturated or polyunsaturated, yes. Or they can be trans fats. So all those names there, right? So these, there's a lot of variety here. I'm just giving you, some stuff you knew before, but I want to put it all into context. This cannot be absorbed. You cannot absorb this. You can eat this all day and all night. You will not absorb it unless you have what? Lipase and an enzyme called colipase. Lipase and colipase breaks it down into what? And free fatty acids. These are absorbable. Yes? Okay. So we need lipase and colipase. These enzymes will break it down. So I just got them telling you that the absorbable unit of carbohydrates, all carbohydrates, bread, pasta, sugars, are the monosaccharides. One unit, glucose, fructose, lactose. And the absorbable unit of the lipids are free fatty acids and monoglycerides. What's the absorbable unit of protein? It's amino acids. Okay, so I'll just show you this. You eat that. Okay, by the way, where's protein in your In-N-Out burger? And cheese, yes, and there's some of the lettuce, there's some of the tomato, there's some of the onion. Yes? So you have that in there.
Do you eat animal fries?
Animal style fries?
Yeah.
Of course.
Really?
You're not eating animal style fries.
It's like the spread all over it.
It's like
bread.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they got the secret menu, 2x3, 4x4 animal style, protein style.
I like the protein.
Okay, so look at protein. Okay.